President Trump's reconciliation budget calls for the phasing out of tax incentives for renewable energy and advanced manufacturing. Now, the impact of the cuts could be considerable for Arizona's renewable energy products. And for more, we welcome Steve Zylster. He's president and CEO of the Arizona Tech Council. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it.
You betcha. All right. How much of a phase out are we talking about here, and what is being targeted?
Well, first of all, it's almost a complete phase out. Let's start with the Inflation Reduction Act, one of the largest pieces of legislation in U.S. history, and certainly the most significant when it comes to renewable energy. $369 billion that was designed to create advanced manufacturing jobs, address our energy needs, lower pollution, all these grandiose plans for this act. And the Big Beautiful Bill, as it's called, essentially guts most of that. And let's start with rooftop solar. One of the incentives was credits if you got clean energy put on your home. Another was if you created a more efficient energy environment in your home. Electric vehicles, there was $7,500 credit for an electric vehicle, $4,000 if it was a used electric vehicle. Massive projects on the utility scale for both solar and wind to address our energy needs. We have this massive demand right now in Arizona for energy as a result of all the massive growth we're seeing here in Arizona, and much of that is looking to be cut.
Okay, the administration looking to cut these things because we're over budget. They're looking for anything. Obviously, there are a lot of things being cut right now. What reasons have you heard, though, for these incentives, this renewable tax incentive? As you mentioned, that's a big deal. Why is that being cut?
Well, this particular administration doesn't really believe in clean energy or electric vehicles. You've heard the President of the United States talk about drill, baby, drill. He's really focused on the petroleum industry and not on the climate change issue that we're all facing as a nation. We see it very vividly here in Arizona with the higher average temperatures that we're seeing every year. I'll just tell you that the impact that the IRA had so far before the Big Beautiful Bill was enormous. $13.2 billion in investments here in Arizona, creating 19,000 jobs. There are 130 projects that were either announced, started, or completed in the clean energy space. I saw in June that some data came out that suggested that if all of these cuts in the Big Beautiful Bill are put in place, that has a $58 billion, 69,000 job impact on Arizona.
On Arizona alone?
On Arizona alone.
So these things basically are stopped in their tracks, these projects?
They're stopped in their tracks. Some of them in this year, like the credits for use of clean energy at home. Electric vehicles ends at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So, and then the rest are phased out in 2026 and 2027.
So things are staggered along the way.
Things are staggered somewhat.
For those who say, and the argument is made and can be made, that these incentives aren't needed, that renewable energy, if it is the wave of the future, if it is the best thing out there, it should be able to stand on its own. How do you respond?
Well, I would say that the other industry, the petroleum industry, has all kinds of subsidies. It's been subsidized forever, as are many industries. And the United States has a history of when you have a policy objective, which is to clean up our air, which is to address climate change, then the federal government makes an investment in that for a period of time until it can, as you suggest, stand on its own.
Was the IRA, though, a propeller, an accelerant to where this industry can better stand on its own now?
It was a massive accelerant. As I said, you heard the number of projects that we're looking at in Arizona, and all of these projects address climate change in some form or fashion.
These companies that are going to get hit, the industries, just the entire sector, is there preparation? Are people working right now to handle these phase outs?
People are trying to figure out how to deal with it. I'll give you a few examples. LG is building a battery facility here in Queen Creek. That's going to be affected. Lucid Motors is building yet another factory in Casa Grande. Heritage Recycling is building a lithium-ion recycling facility in Eloy. People aren't going to buy as many electric vehicles if they're not getting a $7,500 credit. So it's definitely going to affect the demand in all of these industries. By the way, I heard one utility say that the impact on them would be almost $400 million that would have supported building solar facilities and so on to produce the kind of power that we so desperately need here in Arizona.
But those construction projects that you mentioned, will they continue? Will they be put on pause? What are you hearing?
I think it remains to be seen. I think each of these organizations is going to have to figure out how it's going to deal with it. If there's lower demand, that's going to have an impact on workforce. And it really remains to be seen because this just happened, of course. And of course, there has been knowledge that it could happen. So I'm assuming that they've developed a strategy to address this long term.
I was going to say, it's also can be argued that the current administration is not necessarily set in stone on a lot of things, from tariffs on down. Is this something that could possibly teeter-totter the other way?
Well, that's why I'm here today. I think all of us have to continue to advocate for that. We all care about the health of our children and our grandchildren, and the effect that not having these kind of incentives will have on our economy and on our environment is going to be profound.
And that's what's next. I was going to ask what's next for you and the council, but what's next is probably getting the word out.
We're going to continue to advocate. We're continuing to discuss this with our congressional delegation who can make a difference when it comes to turning things around. So we've been busy educating them. There are many of them that are on board with this, and we'll continue to advocate at the federal level.
Steve Zylstra, again, Arizona Tech Council, the president and CEO. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining.
Good to see you. Thank you.